Hello everyone! So today it's really hot in Paris. So I'm sorry if I'm sort of sweaty, but it is what it is. It is September. For some reason August wasn't hot, but September is. Anyway, we're not here to talk about the weather. So today I wanted to talk about how to build habits or create habits for language learning. If you want to have long-term results in language learning, it's important to have consistency and also regularity. And you also want to avoid quitting, because then you have no results at all. And the way to have those two things and avoid quitting is to create habits. And in this video, we will look at how you can achieve that. Before we actually start, I want to address a very important thing, which is a myth that exists and permeates in language learning, which is that to learn a language you need motivation. And even though it's kind of true, it's also highly overrated, because the way you should see motivation is like a limited resource that we have in our brain, which we use on a daily basis for various activities. For example, going to work, waking up can require a lot of motivation, doing house chores, doing paperwork, and that kind of thing. And all of these things will deplete the amount of motivation that you have. And when you run out of motivation, which is limited anyway, then it's really hard to do anything at all. That is precisely why I don't recommend anyone to rely on motivation, because it's limited and it's used up by all the other things we do in a day. And now you're all going to ask me, well, Kevin, then if we can't rely on motivation, then what do we do? Is there something else we can use to create habits? And the short answer is yes, and the long answer will follow. Well, the secret is willpower. And willpower, if I sort of simplify it, is when you do something when you're not motivated. I'm not going to lie to you, this video is not a miracle solution to how to be productive and stop procrastinating completely and, study languages for 10 hours a day or whatever. No, on the contrary, this video will talk about, emotional discomfort, and what I mean will make sense. But what I can promise you, if you follow the steps that I will outline in this video, is that you will be able to create long-lasting habits, and you will also improve your productivity. So let's put things into context. Imagine you're about to do your language learning, or maybe you plan to do it at a specific time or specific day, but when it comes to actually doing it, you kind of have your brain telling you, oh, I don't want to do it, I can't, I'm too tired, I'm too busy, I need to do this before, or there's a show I want to watch, or whatever, all these thoughts that essentially sort of promote procrastination, or at least not doing the task that you intended to do in the first place. If you find yourself in this situation, meaning if you are a human being, then what you should do is stop for a second and not give up just yet. Pay attention to all the thoughts that go through your mind. For example, the ones I just said, like, I want to watch a TV show, I'm too busy, I'm too tired, etc., etc. By default, your brain will always want you to not be productive, because being productive is uncomfortable emotionally, because that requires you to make some effort to do something, while you could just be lazy and watch TV, which is very low effort and not demanding for your brain. And the best way I found to counter this situation where your brain just feels like not being productive is to do thought suggestions. Essentially what it entails is to hijack your brain a bit. So when you feel like you want to watch Netflix instead of doing language learning, sort of give yourself positive thoughts, productive thoughts. For example, you can think to yourself, well, I want to watch Netflix, but if I do my language learning, I'll be so happy, I'll be so excited, I'll feel like a productive person, I'll achieve my goals, I can tell my friends about it so that they'll think I'm cool, whatever. So essentially all these thoughts will sort of be more productive than that other thought. Let's have another example. Imagine you feeling like you're tired. It might be true, you might be physically tired. I mean, I'm not talking about exhaustion and burnout, but I'm just talking about low-level tiredness. So if you feel tired, actually your brain is kind of lying to yourself by telling you, oh, I can't be productive now, I need to rest. Because what happens in actuality is that you can be productive even when you're a little bit tired. And yes, it's possible that you will not be as productive as if you were properly rested, but it doesn't mean that you can't do at least half an hour of language learning. And bargaining when you're tired can be a good way to at least be a little bit productive, or at least more than you would have been if you had just gone to bed or rested or, you know, just lie down on your couch or something. It would be difficult for me to give you all the positive thoughts that would work for you, because different thoughts will work for different people. So you have to find something that's actually motivating for you, or that will sort of give you that extra push. For example, whenever I need to record a video, it's quite tiring for me because I need a lot of willpower, because I could do so many other non-productive things. But what I tell myself is, you know, people are waiting for my content, I'll be excited that I've stuck to my schedule, I'll feel happy about myself for not giving in to procrastination, etc., etc. Oh, I just thought about something while recording, but if you know the kind of thoughts that you have before doing an activity, so preemptively, I guess, you can sort of make a list of the kind of positive thoughts you could tell yourself when you're in a situation where doing something is difficult. I'm gonna sort of move away from language learning for a little bit, but imagine you need to tidy your room, which is a proper tip right now. Then if you know it's gonna be difficult for you, you can sort of write some positive thoughts about it before you actually start the activity of tidying up. For example, you can say, well, you know, if I have friends over, they'll be impressed by my house, I'll feel great in my room or house or whatever when it's tidy, and all these things. So if you sort of give yourself positive thoughts, it's a way to sort of rewire your brain and help you be more productive by having more positive thinking or more productive thoughts. I am not done though. There are some cases where everything I've just talked about just fails. It doesn't work. You know, you can do it once, twice, 3 times in a day, but after a while you just can't do it sometimes, you know. Our brain is not always our best friend. Sometimes it just wants to be unproductive. And when you're in that situation, if all the positive thinking doesn't work, I just suggest to just do it. It might not always work, but if you try something, sometimes you will actually feel like you get in a flow of doing something. So maybe give yourself 5 or 10 minutes to do something, even if that's actually all you do and you don't do any more of that. Well, first of all, you will have done something. And second of all, it might be that actually when you get started, you will feel more positive because you're like, oh, I've started, I might as well just carry on. Or you can sort of give yourself extra goals or challenges. So for example, after 10 minutes, you can say, okay, I've done 10 minutes, I'll just do one more activity, or I'll just watch one video, and so on and so forth. So that means that you are trying to push yourself. And this, my friends, is how you create habits. Obviously, I didn't discuss everything there is to say about habits. I just wanted to give you a sort of short version of how it works, so to speak. But something important to remember is that sometimes these steps will not work and you won't be able to actually do the task. What's important is not to feel guilty and sort of hate yourself and call yourself lazy or whatever, but it's just about trying again and again and again. It might be that today is not your day, but try again tomorrow. And if tomorrow fails, then try again and again and again and again. Essentially, willpower is something that you can build up, and the more you do it, the easier it gets. And also remember that you can't just create 10 habits, you know, from one day to another. You need to start with one, especially if you've never done or never created habits before. Start with one. And then when the first one is sort of settled, usually it takes about months for something to be a habit, then, you know, get started on another one, and so on and so forth. And I will leave you to it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you want to add anything to this, to what I said, then feel free to leave a comment in the description box. No, in the comment section below. And I will see you next week. Bye.